Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Today we are checking out one of the most menacing rats in the entire Go Battle League, and that is Morpeko. Morpeko in the lead. Honestly, not even a super broken Pokemon. I wouldn't really consider it a cringe pick in this meta whatsoever. Morpeko is extremely squishy. There are so many ground types. There are so many fairy types. I feel like Morpeko is really not crazy. I just thought about running Morpeko because I saw a lot of Gyarados and a lot of Fearow leads yesterday. And even a few for alligators, so I wanted to be able to punish those. And as you'll see in this video, we do get to punish quite a bit of those. We're actually running Morpeko with Shadow Gary as a save swap. Honestly, Shadow Gyarados seems almost unanswered in this meta. And there's literally nothing that Gyarados just gets fully walled by and doesn't have to shield at least once to gain switch. So Gyarados at least can fully take advantage of getting an advantage. That being either switch or shield advantage. Regardless, Gyarados can take care of that. I have Venusaur in the back just to deal with ground types if there are any. I will say Venusaur was a little bit lacking today. It did catch a few Carbinks, but it was mostly getting RPS'd by Fearows in the back line. So unfortunately, not very successful lineup with Venusaur back there. There might be a different grass type. Honestly, maybe Meowscarada could do some work. The problem is that you need something that can be an answer to Wigglytuff, right? Because there's quite a few Wigglytuff leads. So you swap in Gyarados, you can get to the double Aqua Tail against Wigglytuff. You'll get either shield or switch advantage, and whatever happens then, you just bring in Venu. As you can see by the title as well, though, we actually did fight a world champ today. We fought Emmy Weedle, and the match went pretty great. Honestly, we made some crazy calls, but let's get into these battles and see how we do in the rest of these battles. We almost hit expert. We had a really decent run, but of course we just started getting RPS quite a little bit. But yeah, check out the first lead. Instantly seeing Gyarados in the lead. Our opponent swaps into Diggersby, and I mean, we have the answer to this. Venu was also catching quite a bit of Diggersbys today. Unfortunately, you do get two-shot by Fire Punch here, so it's a little bit of an awkward matchup. You do have to go down shields to win this, so I'm gonna farm up to 4 more Vine Whips here. And just make sure that I have the back-to-back. I couldn't throw my Frenzy Plant before the second Fire Punch there because it wouldn't have knocked out yet. I needed still quite a bit of Vine Whip damage. But they're going to bring in Gary, get a full farm down here, but I can easily get both of my shields back. I throw the Sludge just to guarantee that I can get a Frenzy Plant on the next one, and my opponent could have Cap-Tied there if they wanted to, but they choose not to. So honestly, we're in a pretty decent spot here. They can force a shield on my Morpeko here, but I feel like at this point my own Gyarados can take this game. So whatever they do here, I'm just going to swap into my Gary. They do get a Mud Slap through on my Morpeko, but at this point, once again, my Gyarados can easily get to the back-to-back Aqua Tails I need. So I'm just going to throw this Aqua Tail right away. No shield whatever they're going to throw first, which is more than likely a Wrap. They're not really going to be able to get to a third move anyways. So they throw the Wrap. They're just farming up. They're going to throw a Seed Bomb here. And at this point, I'm realizing I don't even have to throw energy like into this Toedscrew. I can just get to the back-to-back and throw both of these Aqua Tails into Gyarados. Look how much damage this debuffed resisted Aqua Tail is going to do. Oh my god, dude. That is almost 50%. That is actually ridiculous. Very decent for us, though. I will totally take that. But yeah, very cool first game. Honestly, the team worked out pretty perfectly there. It was a little bit RPS-y, not gonna lie, but we will take that. All right, we see Florges in the lead in the next match, and that is absolutely catastrophic. I'm gonna bring in Gary here. I should have Cap-Tied there. Florges, they love to throw instantly, so I shouldn't have really worried about them not Cap-Tying. They actually have Trailblaze, which a little bit of a surprise by me, but we still get to the double Aqua Tail, and this is what I'm saying, right? Gyarados just so decent, just that getting any sort of advantage, right? And my opponent can shield their Florges, but as soon as I bring in Venu, they're gonna realize that they are fully walled here. Like, they really have no play against Venu. So of course, Florges being Florges, they will still throw a Chilling Water, debuff our Venusaur, but we have Morpeko still. We can clear the debuff, bring in Morpeko here, and just do whatever we can, right? The Thunder Punch is gonna probably more than likely knock us out here, so I will be shielding this. I'm gonna full send the R wheel. My opponent doesn't really have an incentive to shield here. They already got their shield back. They have a floor just ready for my Morpeko here, but yeah, my opponent makes kind of a weird play. They bring in Torterra, which honestly, it's a pretty decent play for them, but me getting this Psychic Fangs kind of forces them to pivot out. I don't care if my opponent catches here. Of course, I'd rather throw the Sludge into this thing, but I'm only going to get to one move against that Torterra, right? So a catch here doesn't really matter at all. Of course, the catch helps them because they were debuffed on their defense, so it is fine. But I just have to land this Frenzy Plant and hope that I can knock out with 2 more Vine Whips before they get a second Frenzy Plant. A Frenzy Plant might not knock out from the yellow, but after that Mud Slap, it would have definitely done it. So very, very grateful that we get that farm down there. Very nice gameplay. All right, on to the next one. We see Sandslash in the lead. Honestly, our backline doesn't really want to see this, and we pace exactly to these R wheels. So I am totally fine staying in here, playing out the 2-shield matchup. And like I was telling my chat earlier today, I don't really care if they catch the last Aura Wheel. Nothing wants to tank a +2 Aura Wheel, whether it's Dark or Electric. And you're going to see here for my opponent, unfortunately, they don't want to see Morpeko at all. So we're playing this in the exact way that they don't want us to play this. And it's working out for us. So we're going to get to the Aura Wheel here. And we're just going to throw it right away because remember, we cap tight of these. Our opponent has been throwing on weird timing on purpose, but they catch a double boosted Aura Wheel on Lapras. And that is definitely not what you want to do. So they bring back in the A-Slash. They get fully farmed down. And we get a Psychic Fangs onto Jellicent. They were so weak to Morpeko. Oh my god, trainer. One Morpeko in the back. Look at that Psychic Fangs. That is a neutral Psychic Fangs on Jellicent. And to be fair, Jellicent has literally 0 play against our team. So GG's to my opponent there, but I feel a little bit bad. Alright, we can't yell victory too much yet. We do see a terrible lead in the next match, but then we see a Jellicent safe swap onto us. This is not an answer, trainer. If I land this crunch, the game is over. And look at that. We land the crunch. My opponent makes a second misplay here. They full send a Shadow Ball. They could have gotten to double serve and do some damage, but they full send the Shadow Ball there. I get the full farm down. I practically have 2 Aqua Tails, and yeah, that's just going to be a good game. Sorry about that, trainer. All right, we got Emmy Weedle. This is a world champion. Extremely, extremely nervous about this game. We have Morpeko onto Magnezone. They instantly pivot into Quagsire. I bring in my Gyarados, and I am so sad. I should have brought in my Venusaur, right? Obviously, maybe. I don't know. Let's keep watching. At this point, I don't really need switch advantage. Morpeko and Venu are going to do equally terrible into Magnezone. So, I'm just going to call the bait here, and thankfully, my opponent actually baits with an Aqua Tail. I accidentally cap tie here, and it's perfect for me. We get a shield. They throw the Stone Edge, so we don't get switch advantage, but we get shield advantage, which is definitely what we need against the Magnezone, right? We bring in Venu, get a crazy farm down. My opponent brings in their Magnezone, of course. I mean, it's a full wall, but Magnezone doesn't want to take these Frenzies. 2 Frenzies still 2-shot here. I'm gonna just shield my Venu. I feel like there's probably a ground type in the back, so I'm a little bit scared about that. They do get the debuff here though, so I'm gonna send this Frenzy Plant, make sure that I get their last shield, and then I'm gonna bring in Morpeko. My opponent waits here, making sure I don't catch, and a very decent play by them. But it's actually Wigglytuff in the back, and this is so tricky for us. Thankfully, Morpeko has all of their HP, so we're gonna be able to barely get to the Psychic Fangs, and getting this knockout on Wigglytuff is game over. Unfortunately for my opponent, we give them minimal farm, aka only 1 Volt Switch, and we are able to outpace to a single move here. I don't have to shield this move because Wild Charge still doesn't quite knock out, and it's just a mirror shot. So unfortunately for Emmy Weedle here, we are going to take this game. Very interesting team. I mean, Magnezone is an insanely cool pick, but thankfully we were able to take that. On to the next battle here. We got more Peko against Carbink. Honestly, not an amazing lead, but it's not terrible either. You're going to see that even a resisted aura wheel, a dark type aura wheel, of course, after we do this switch, it's going to do quite a bit of damage onto this Carbink. I'm going to be throwing these instantly, and Carbink is going to be throwing their aura wheel right before we get to a Psychic Fangs, which makes sense. They don't want to take any more damage than they have to, but I'm just going to be shielding this, throwing this aura wheel. I'm going to be over farming quite a bit here just in case they swap out afterwards. And that proves to be a pretty decent play. I can throw one and have a aura wheel here, and they actually bring in a Goliathopod, so they look to be pretty weak to electric type damage back there. I'm gonna stay in here just to get this double boosted Thundershock. I was supposed to get a second Thundershock there, but the game has not been working correctly with one turn fast moves, unfortunately. Regardless, we can bring in Gyarados here. We wall the moveset here. As you can see, that was an insanely resisted X-Scissor. It literally did no damage to us whatsoever. Oh my god, this Pokemon is classy. We're going to throw the Crunch right before they get another move, and it is a Araquanid in the back, so it is double Bug Water. Very interesting play, honestly. I guess they don't care about Fearow in the back, and I mean, these ABB lines just don't work right because I don't know, these Pokemon are pretty bad. But regardless, we do get debuffed with Bubble Beams here. I'm gonna no shield the first because, again, it's a very guaranteed Bubble Beam by Araquanid users. And at this point, I'm a little bit worried. Like, what do I do here? I'm trying to catch a move with Gary, but we actually get farmed down by Bink. But we get the farm down on Bink, and we win Captai against Araquanid. So a little bit tricky endgame there. It could have gone really, really wrong. But thankfully, we are able to take that win. Very, very close game, though. All right, we got Melmetal in the lead in the next match. And I wanted to showcase this game just because I made a few misplays that cost me this game. I'm a little bit of a spoiler alert already. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase it. I should have shielded here. I was just so convinced that my opponent would bait. But props to them for not. So very, very respectful there. Again, I'm gonna no shield here with a Morpeko. I feel like they're baiting every time, but they don't. I'm just gonna bring in Venusaur here. They might overfarm a little bit, but I'm not worried about the energy on my Gyarados. I'm worried about the fast move pressure, right? So if I bring in Venu and get a bunch of energy, that's totally fine. They bring in Gyarados, tank the Frenzy Plant, and that allows me to get a full farm down. Very decent stuff there. Once again, I am calling their bluff. There's no way they have Superpower and Rock Slide. And yeah, very well, they don't. I'm going to take a second move here just in case I knock out with this Crunch. I want to make sure I give the least amount of farm to the back line. Unfortunately, we don't knock out and they get a farm down with Dragonite. But look at this. I just have to land one Sludge here and maybe we have a win con, right? But unfortunately for us, you're going to see this is going to come down to fast moves. And once again, the one turn priority somehow takes over here, which it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. 2 turn moves are supposed to go through before the second one turn move. But oh well, we lose that game by a very thin margin there. All right, we got a Morpeko mirror in the next match. Very tricky. I keep losing Captai. I have 3 attack on my Morpeko. I don't know why I keep losing, but we just lost every single Captai today. My opponent baits with a Psychic Fangs, which is such a blessing for us. We land the Aura Wheel, and look at that. That is insane damage. I'm going to bring in my Venusaur, keep my full HP Morpeko in the back. I will have to shield this Aura Wheel, but this is totally fine. We have a lot of energy on Venu. Hopefully they don't bring a complete wall. Oh, what do you know? A complete wall to our energy. That is totally fine though. Honestly, Drifblim is probably one of the best walls I could ask for. Drifblim is kind of like a cope wall to Venusaur, just because it's not as tanky as it may seem. It's kind of like Gustlord, right? It has a lot of HP for fast move pressure and whatnot, but it doesn't really do well with like very powerful resisted charge attacks. So we are able to farm the Drifblim down, so they actually pivot into Charizard, and this just means that I can permanently debuff them. I'm going to stay in here with Morpeko, force them to throw energy into my Morpeko. They're taking these super effective Thunder Shocks and they're debuffed on their defense. I don't have to shield this. Honestly, shielding that move would cost me the game. I just have to bring in Gyarados, get to the back-to-back Aqua Tails, and we're just going to be in a very decent spot here. We obviously shield the Charizard here. We're able to farm them all the way down before they can swap out. And yeah, that's going to be a good game for my opponent there. Very, very well played. On to the next battle here. We got Morpeko into Dugong. Honestly, a very decent lead, but the fast move pressure is a little bit scary. My opponent's going to throw one Ice Shard and swap into Wigglytuff. And I'm going to bring in my Venu. As you can see, my Venusaur is kind of lagging a little bit. Once again, I mean, we can't really take this game too seriously, right? It is just a, a very broken game. But I can kind of see what my opponent wants to do here. They want to take both of my shields. So they can just get rid of my Morpeko with a Drill Run in the end game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my Sludge on the Captai. My opponent reads that and they catch on Dugong. So honestly, very decent play by them, not going to lie. But I can just bring in Morpeko now and overfarm quite a bit here. I could have overfarmed by 2 Thunder Shocks more, so that's a little bit of a misplay by me. But I'm totally fine with this. I mean, Wigglytuff can come back in and I'm just going to knock it out with a Psychic Fangs. So that is totally fine by me. We still have quite a bit of HP on Morpeko too, so we might even be able to get to another move against the backline Mon. Let's see what my opponent wants to do here. Ooh, and it's Carbink in the back. So yeah, we don't even have to show our Gyarados. We could just land this boosted Aura Wheel, which is going to do over half HP, and Venusaur can just take the cake here. We just shield, throw the Sludge or the Frenzy, and that's a good game. We do not respect Carbink users in this channel. Sorry, trainer. On to the next battle here, though. We got Jellicent in the lead, and honestly, this is a dream lead. This is the best lead we could see. Drapion comes in. We bring in Gyarados right away. Make sure we're going to be able to land this Aqua Tail. I'm going to call their bluff. They're a non-shadowed Drapion, so I'm not super scared. We don't really need switch advantage against Jellicent, as we saw before. We triple counter that Pokemon. We really are not worried about Jellicent at all. So I'm going to land the Aqua Tail, and now I'm going to fully farm down this Drapion. I'm thinking, I mean, they can't really bring in Jellicent, right? And if they do, they're going to take a lot of damage or maybe give me a shield. So maybe I will keep switch advantage just to avoid a flying type on my Venusaur, right? So we bring in Gary. We are able to get to this Aqua Tail. I want to throw it here before they get a chance to snipe me with a Surf, and we actually get a shield here. This is going to force me to stay in because I'm a little bit worried of what might be in the back. They seem really eager to get some damage off into my Morpeko. So I'm going to no-shield the first Surf since they don't have a lot of fast move pressure, catch the second on my Venusaur, and now I have Morpeko with energy and Venusaur with an energy lead. And what do you know? It's Diggersby in the back. They really wanted that switch advantage, but they couldn't get it. And thankfully for us, Jellicent was just so useless for my opponent that we were able to just completely neutralize it. Diggersby does have a pacing advantage here, even with that extra Vine Whip we got, but thankfully it does take one more Fire Punch for Diggersby to knock us out. We can't tank one even after the Surf from Jellicent, so this will be a good game. A very close one still. Morpeko wouldn't have had a lot of chance or play into Diggersby, but I will take it, baby. All right, on to the next battle here. We got Morpeko into Dusknoir, a very, very good lead once again. And we still have play into that thing with our Gyarados. I'm a little bit confused with this swap in. Obviously, I should have brought in Gyarados right away, but Araquanid can just kind of like 2-shield through us, right? So I wanted to get some sort of advantage before bringing in my Gary. And now I can just no-shield everything with Gyarados. They're just gonna go straight Bubble Beam. They are an Araquanid user after all. Like, let's be for real here. This is how they play this video game. So we're gonna full send the Crunch. It is debuffed, but that's okay. We should still be able to survive this move. But they actually full send a Water Pulse, which forces me to throw the Aqua Tail here. I know this isn't really going to knock out, especially now that it's debuffed, but I have to get any type of damage I can into this thing. I'm going to bring in Venusaur just to get a bit of an energy lead against that Dusknoir. I could throw the Frenzy Plant right away since they stayed a little bit, and force this shield out. See what they want to do. Dusknoir is not going to be able to survive another Frenzy. So I can just fully shield this move and just throw my Frenzy Plant right away. So we have 2 yellow health Pokemon versus 1 full health Pokemon in the back and a potential catch attempt. So we do have to keep that in mind. We knock out the Dusknoir, very nice for us. And let's see, my opponent is waiting down their clock so they can attempt to catch later. And that worries me a little bit. I could have thrown my Frenzy Plant right away there. I wasn't really aware of the clocks very well. So this is a little bit of a misplay by me. This could cost me the game. I'm going to full send this Aura Wheel here. I know my opponent is not going to try and catch an Aura Wheel. They're going to try and catch a Frenzy Plant. So this is my game plan. I'm going to get knocked out with Morpeko, and I'm going to instantly bring in Gyarados. I feel like my opponent is going to try to catch instantly, right? So I'm going to bring in Gyarados. My opponent swaps into a Araquanid, expecting the Insta Throw. So we bring in Venu, farm down Araquanid, Frenzy Plant the Carbink, and Trainer, I would say GG's, but instead I rather say get rocked, buddy. What a cool end game right there. That was very scary, honestly. On to the next game, another Florges lead. Oh my god, these are so bad for us. Instantly bring in Gyarados, and now we've learned our lesson. We're just gonna full send the Aqua Tail instantly. We know these Florges love throwing their moves instantly. They don't care if you're gonna overfarm or not. So you know what? I'm gonna do that as well, buddy. If we throw the Aqua Tail, it lands. This Florges is a half HP. I'm not gonna shield whatever they bring in. I know that the clocks are super misaligned at this point, so I want to get knocked out if possible. They bring in a Dusknoir and they throw a move instantly, right? Honestly, very good play by them. They don't want to have to shield a Crunch, which makes a lot of sense. But I can now bring in Morpeko, force a shield out with this Aura Wheel, and we actually lag a turn on entries, so this is a cap tie. Very unfortunate for us, but you know what? I don't believe you, Trainer. You don't have the guts. They throw a Shadow Punch, and that is not going to cut it. For some reason, now they throw the Dynamic Punch. I feel like Shadow Punch would have done it anyways, but that's totally fine. That just means we can overfarm here, and now that we're boosted, this Psychic Fang should knock out. We are at back-to-back, so if they shield one, we have another. They actually let that go, which is totally fine by me. We are boosted here, so I am going to get to the back-to-back Aura Wheels with Morpeko here. I know my opponent could catch, but honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter. I just need to get to double Frenzy with my Venu, and we will win the game. I'm going to throw this double boosted Aura Wheel, which Diggersby has to shield unless they want to get knocked out. And my opponent makes a crucial error here. They instantly pivot into Florges. This pivot loses them the game on the spot. They might have had some play if they landed, you know, one Fire Punch and then got a shield with another Fire Punch, and then maybe went for a Moonblast with Florges, something like that. But then bringing in Florges here just lets me overfarm severely against them. And I'm just going to be able to throw this Frenzy Plant, get pretty close to knocking out. Honestly, that debuff does hurt us a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We will be able to fully farm down this Diggersby. I will shoot the first move just in fear for a Hyper Beam, because that would definitely knock us out. But we know that Fire Punch does a little bit less than half of Venusaur's HP, so we can easily survive this move and take this final game. Alrighty guys, what can I say about this team? Honestly, it's not amazing. I did really enjoy Morpeko and Gyarados. I feel like Venusaur failed me just a little bit. I don't really know what I could run back there to have a better chance against those flyers that are so troublesome. Maybe a Ferrothorn could be kind of cool. But regardless, very, very fun team. I had a lot of fun with it. Chat today was super cool on stream. So if you want to check out these streams, check out how these games are made live, feel free to come by. There's a link in the description below. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, anything you want to do, anything helps me out. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if we can get on there, we're going to do a massive Pokemon Go giveaway. We're going to do a massive, super long Pokemon Go stream. We're also doing as soon as you're watching this video today for you, I'm going to be doing a computer building stream. I'm building a brand new gaming computer. We have some really cool high level parts. We have a 5070, a 7800 X3D. So if you know what those things mean and you're interested in seeing how this micro ATX build is going to go, feel free to drop by Twitch tomorrow, or well, I guess today for you at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. But anyways, thank you guys once again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.